So welcome back to another video, and in this video I will tell you why I do not use the P mode in the Canon Legria R806, and I will show you exactly what my settings are in the camera later in this video. But first, here's why. So let me start by saying that the settings I will show you in this video is only applying to this camera. This is not true for DSLRs or mirrorless cameras. P mode / manual mode is the best mode on these types of cameras. But why is this? What I have found out is that the auto mode is more light sensitive. This means less noise in the background or in the shadow area. So that's one of the key reasons why I use auto. If you're gonna use the auto instead of the P mode, you have some cons and you have some pros. In the auto mode, you need to have a controlled environment because the exposure and the white balance will shift in the auto mode if you introduce a variable light source like the sun from a window. On P mode, you can set all this and just forget about it. I would say I use the P mode if I'm outside and I want to have a control of the white balance and exposure, but I use it outside because there's more natural lights. Inside, like here, there aren't much light and the P mode will suffer in this condition. That's why I'm using auto mode, because I'm getting most out of this camera. Okay, so what's about the other modes that you can use? The cinema mode, the baby mode, and the scene mode is probably the only thing outside the auto and the P mode that I will consider using, because if you use the cinema mode, you get a color grading that you can't remove. It's gonna be baked into the image. That's why I'm using auto and the P mode, because then I'm getting a standard look on the image and it's gonna be much easier to tweak the colors in the right direction where I want it to be. If you use this camera with no knowledge about editing, then okay, the cinema mode or other modes can be useful, but in other cases I would not use them. So now let's dive into the settings on this camera, and I will show you exactly what settings I use to shoot a video like this. The first thing I want to show is to turn off the auto powering on and off when you open the screen. So what you want to do is to go into the house, and I'm sorry about my finger. Then you want to go into other options, press on that. In here you want to go over to the last tab with the little wrench. Then you want to go down, power on when using panel. Press on that. You get the option to enable or turn it off. I always have it turned off because if I just want to take out my memory card, I do not want to have the camera powered on. So the next thing is the auto settings, and it's actually on auto right now, as you can see. So I just let it be on auto. Another thing is the quality. If we go into the record setup and you press it, I usually shoot in 60p if I'm doing some B-roll and I want to slow it down. But if I'm sitting here and talk to you, have it in quality on 24 megabits, and that's how much information the camera will capture in a given moment. If you go into video quality and go up to 35, I get 50 FPS. But if you do some math, half of 35 is not 24. You're actually getting more information if you use 24 megabits with 24 FPS instead of using 50 or 60 FPS on the 35 megabits. So that's actually everything I do with the camera. And after this, I just press record, talk to the camera, and then dump the footage on the computer. Okay, so what's the conclusion? I would say use the auto if you are indoor with low lights. Do not use any other mode because the quality will suffer. You will introduce more noise into the image. If you're outside or in an environment that you cannot control, then I would recommend to use the P mode, and hopefully you have good enough light that you won't introduce that much noise. So that's my conclusion on this camera. I think it's a really good camera if you know how to use it and if you know it inside and out. And another really important thing is the lighting that you use with this camera. You will need a lot of light, and I actually have a video and I will link it in the description down below so you can produce better videos. So that's actually everything I had to show you and tell you about the settings for this camera. And I actually think that if you apply this, it's gonna be the best settings to use with this particular camera, not a DSLR or a mirrorless. And in those cameras, I would say it's the opposite. You do not want to use the auto mode. You want to use the P mode or the manual mode. So this is everything I had on this subject for this time. And if you like this video, please press the thumb button. And if you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe and do not forget to press the bell icon so you get a notification every time I release a new video like this. And as always, thank you for watching and I see you in the next one. Because